Kevin Rarick's response to when we kind of mentioned to him how we're looking at things.
Right.
He fired back as it's all that's in the IMA and how to do the EDUs, and there's nothing in there.
Okay. Well, to me, it's just a matter. It's pretty straightforward. They should all be the same, and if somebody thinks it shouldn't be, I'd like to hear them explain it.
They have to be the same.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's simple.
Yeah. No, that's why, I don't know if that's why exactly, but our little committee, we've kind of shied away from that to the very end, because we knew this.
Right, well, you guys shouldn't have to. The biggest thing is, say a trailer park, how many sites are there? Stuff like that. As far as how it's treated by the district, that's out of your guys' hands.
Yeah.
But the important thing is, how many are there, and they've been verified, that sort of thing.
And that is true up to a point where, but we need, the town of Alexandria is responsible for coming up with how many EDUs, and we're about ready to add a district.
Well, the EDUs are based on, let's say, a motorhome site, right? How many sites you have.
Yep.
So we need to get that information and then take it. The decision on how each one is treated needs to be a joint decision.
Right.
And I really don't see how it should be that hard a deal.
I don't either. The other danger is we could have 2 districts in the town of Alexandria that are different than all the other districts in the town of Alexandria. Do we want that?
The thing is, as far as the sewer district goes, this is majority rules. I mean, put it this way, a decision will be made, and when that happens, some may go down, some may go up, but at least everybody that's hooked to that system will be treated the same way.
Okay, but
I call this meeting to order. So, welcome to the August 22nd, 2022 Town Board meeting. I'd like to call to order. Would everybody please stand for the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is a reconvening meeting from August 17th when we adjourned until today.
I'll go.
Motion to pay bills on here, and I think that I asked Nicole to send you or send everybody the 2 bills that we had. One is the Municipal Solutions, the annual $40,000 wire transfer, and the other one was the 6 sporting goods?
Yeah, part of the uniform for the sports team.
I'm sorry.
Part of the uniform for the sports team.
For the $1,210.88 for uniforms, which I had talked to Sean about, and they had okayed and been through it, and everything is kosher there. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the $40,000 is a payment on something?
Yeah, it's an annual payment on, I wanna say it's on 675 Public Improvement Serial Bond, 2011. That sounds like the rink. I was gonna say, we got financials here. No, that's not gonna be in the back of this. Is it? No, it's not. I'm not sure around without going to get the financials and looking it up.
Is she still here?
Hmm? No, she had to leave.
She'll know it right off the top of her head, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, sure will. Yeah, I read this earlier, trying to figure out which one it was. I have a list on my wall in my office that has them all. Let's see what she says if she answers the phone. Is it the rank or is it?
Much rain here today?
Hey, Nicole, quick question for you. That $40,000 bond payment, what project is that for? Code is A97106.1.6. So it's A.
Do you want me to lock up?
Yeah, 2011. Just wondering what it was for. It says Public Improvement Serial Bond, 2011.
it out, I'll talk to her again for tomorrow, since I know for sure, and I'll email it to her.
Okay.
Thank you, I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Right, bye.
Didn't know,
No.
huh? Know what? Know what?
What?
Remember these sheets I made up a year ago?
Yeah,
If we followed them, we'd know what's going on.
okay, arena purchase.
That's the arena bond.
Yep, okay.
How close are we to paying that off?
Oh, I think it was 2011, we're paying $40,000 a year.
Okay.
And we're 12 years into it, right? At 40,000 is
Say,
480,000. Out of 675.
so. You better hold on to that, you'll still be paying it and I'll be gone.
What's that?
Yeah. Just so I'm a short timer. So he's gonna keep it, he'll be.
I'll remind you.
Yeah. I'll call you on the phone.
So, any other questions on the bills? Take a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Take a motion by Ron, second by Sean, to pay these two bills. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None. Motion passed. Okay, the first thing we have here is Justice Fire Department request for funding.
So what'd you
Having the
find?
privilege of the floor, Alan's not here for the fire department, so, Alan called me earlier today, he spent some time looking up the ARPA as I did. I don't have an answer, I think I sent you guys, I sent everybody an email this morning that I sent to the Association of Towns about this situation, looking for an answer from them. I do not have that answer from them, I called her about an hour and a half ago after I got off the phone with you, I still don't have an answer from the Association of Towns. From what Alan has read and from what's on the internet, it looks like it can be done. Go ahead and tell me or tell us what you had found.
Well, there's one thing that said for the health and safety of essential workers, it can be used for that. And of course, firemen are essential workers. It also said you could use it for sewer and water, and we're doing that. So both ways it could be covered.
I was gonna say, the health and safety, what he was talking about earlier, that we all know, is they come back and they're all contaminated, and they have to be decontaminated, or
Can be, yeah.
things like that.
And,
Sewer and water, you're gonna put a septic system in and water.
yeah, we've got a well
Yeah,
there.
well,
There was a well on the property when we acquired it, and we've pumped it, and it's good. The septic, there was a tank there, but it's just an old metal tank, and that's not good enough, you know.
I was surprised when I looked the numbers up for the Plessis Fire Department. 647 parcels are in that fire department. Assessment of $16 million, total assessment, whatever that means, everybody. Just to give you an idea. Anybody have any other thoughts on it? The only thing I'm worried about, and I think I said this before, is the other fire departments coming to us and looking for whatever projects they're gonna do.
And that's real possible, I mean,
That's all.
it's probable.
I was gonna say, the way things work around here, it's fairly probable.
Yeah, yep, and they,
You know, we run into that with our pay, with everybody, with everything, and we try to do things equal.
and the other thing, I'm all for doing this, don't get me wrong with this, but I mean, if we find out that we couldn't do it, and then these guys are left holding the bag.
Well, if we were to make a decision today and we're gonna say that whether we could do it or we could do X amount of it or whatever, I think we have to make that decision pending the Association of Towns approval that we can do it. We've done that before with things, pending.
I'm all right with that.
You're all right with it?
Yeah, and I support it.
Yep.
And it's just very specific, understand what our concerns are, probable, possible, other departments say, hey, what's up? This is very specific.
opportunity arose, they took it, beautiful presentation, can serve the entire town. I'm fully supporting this, so that's just where I
You
stand.
know, under what I found, the other departments would have water and sewer, and as far as health and safety of their members, they have water, place to clean up, and all that, where we have no water. That's a biggie. You know, it's just,
I'm just thinking that down the line, there's been a lot of talk about a consolidated fire district. And if that's the case, I'm assuming that there's always gonna be equipment in Redwood, Plessis, and Alex Bay, just 'cause it makes sense to have it positioned around the town. So at some point in time, if that were to happen, which I personally think it will happen, or hope it'll happen, 'cause it certainly makes sense, then this would be an investment, a town-wide investment, really.
Anybody else?
But I'm okay with approving it pending, you know, from the associated town, yes and no.
Yeah.
But like I said before, I think we need to be careful with the remaining amount of money, because the other two fire districts are gonna come to us in a similar.
The remaining amount of money is already spoken for.
You just know that's going to happen.
What's that?
The remaining amount of ARPA money's spoken for.
Right.
But they're not gonna look at it like that.
Well,
It is what it
in fact,
is, it is.
I mean, yeah, and the thing is, Alan's presentation is for something the other two districts already have, or the
No,
other
I'm
two fire departments already have. And it just happens to be, that, as Sean says, there is no more left. So if somebody comes knocking on the door, sorry, it's, cookie jar's empty.
It should also be noted publicly that they've gone through leaps and bounds to drive the price of this thing down
Yeah.
substantially.
And I think what both John and Ronnie have referred to in regards to Alan's presentation, and the other gentleman who have been in contact with me, his name is, his last name was Probst, or?
very pros.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's prepared a lot of this stuff too.
Mhm.
Right, he's responsible for it. His position, he's the what?
He is, the president of the fire department, and he's also a commissioner.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So
this would be a commissioner's project.
he started contacting me 2 months ago about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree with the presentation and the need. The biggest thing that we need to do, as everybody's saying here, we need to document why we would do this, if we're gonna do it. Yeah, and it's all tied to the need, the safety, and everything we've talked about.
So I'll make a motion.
Motion by Sean.
We
to-
approve it pending the association of the town's feedback on if it's acceptable.
To grant them $83,000 in ARPA funds pending the decision from the Association of Towns as to whether we can legally do
Was it
this with
83?
ARPA funds.
Yep,
I think it was 83,000.
I'm sorry,
That's what he said.
that's what he said.
80, how many?
83.
You said
that.
83.
Yeah.
I heard 82.
Yeah. Okay,
No, 83.
motion by Sean, second. Do we have a second by Sean, or by Ron? Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Nobody opposed?
Okay?
Motion passed. So, I have the letter into this lady. The lady is a legal department for Association of Towns. She usually gets back to me in 2 or 3 days. I sent everybody a copy of the letter. I sent the letter to her on Thursday after our board meeting here on Wednesday. So I asked her the question on Thursday, and I did again today.
Mhm.
So,
Very good.
I'll work on it tomorrow.
If we get it, we sure appreciate it, because it's needed,
Yeah,
you know?
I think
And it's
that,
not that we can go out to, you know, our taxpayers, because of we've got such a small tax base to work with, that, you know, that's why we're using, used trucks and everything like that, trying to keep the costs down, and
yeah.
that's, when we had to spend $40,000 to clean up that damn asbestos, that,
Who'd you have clean that up?
It hurt.
He's asking who was the contractor you had to do that work?
What was that?
Who was the contractor that you, to do that work?
Was that through, you got through you all or through an engineering firm?
What was that?
Was it through the fire department or was it through an engineering firm that,
Engineering.
who
Yeah.
was the engineer?
We had it tested by, I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah, there's only a couple around that do it, probably one of the ones that we've.
Yeah,
two or
did the
three of them.
testing, and then the other ones, the people that did it were out of Rodman or someplace, I think.
Bronze,
Huh?
bronze contracting?
No,
No?
it wasn't that. And they came in, you know, with the hazmat suits and the whole thing.
Yeah.
They did everything by the law. But, all it was is when, Ronnie Davis put the sheet rock on there, he sprayed, vermiculite on the paint.
Yeah, that's got asbestos in
Had
it.
that like popcorn finish on the thing.
Yep, yep.
And that was, and then there were blown in, vermiculite in the ceiling. There was, a little tar around the chimney, and the roof towards Sherbino's, that slanted roof, that had to be stripped. The main roof didn't have to be. There was asbestos in that, so they came in and cleaned it off, and, then they put, the steel, I said, save the steel, and they put down, water and ice, I guess they call it, or whatever, on there, and then put the used steel back on to hold, because we figured we were going, the department was gonna do this other project of raising the ceilings in there and everything, so. Again, we did what we could do. But $40,000 would have helped like hell across the street. That was, the rest of what I told, him this morning, that property across the street, it was up for the tax sale, and we sent one of the department members out to bid on it. He wasn't authorized to bid as high as it went. Then it ended up, I don't know who drilled the well, whether it was the first party or the second party, and then it was up for the tax sale again. And ended up, the town acquired it, and they ended up turning it over to us. And so we got it through the town taking possession of it and giving us that property across the street. So it's big enough so that we can put a building on, put a septic in there and everything, and, we've got someplace where we can do this. We tried, Ann Weller gave us a strip of land right behind the fire hall between our property and where it drops off toward the creek. We thought we could put in septic in there, but where the well would have to be and where the septic would be was awful close. It's on flat rock there, we would've had to have 2 pump stations, and just the septic system would've cost $40,000. You know, it's a no-win situation, we're boxed in there. We tried to buy some property from, Sherbino, cause he's got quite a bit of lawn there to go and, you know, go that way with it, couldn't. So we're doing what we have to do, it's gotta go across.
Hopefully this goes through for you.
Well, I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Give me a call tomorrow, the next, whatever, hopefully by 1 or 2 days from now, I can tell you what's going on.
Okay, very good.
Okay?
Yep.
Thanks, Alan.
So you have to, we'll hear from 2 different people, you say, on
Just one,
one?
yeah, Association of Towns. And
Association of the Towns.
they have the connection to the comptroller's office, everything, usually whenever they tell us something, they'll send a case history along with it, an example or something that's tied to it that is very similar.
Okay, very good.
Okay?
Thanks, have a good day.
Thank you. short-term rental, I was waiting at that last meeting, I had a person that had told me they had to talk to some other people before they could make a decision, and he called me back, it was the last name on the list, Russ. He called me back and he wants to be on the committee, so we got all 11. So my thoughts are, I'll just write an email to all of them, I've got all their email addresses, and this is something we all talked about, we're gonna let them control their own destiny, let them set it up, have their chairman, have their secretary set their first meeting date. The only thing that I'm gonna ask them to do is to circulate all the information that they circulate amongst themselves to us. So they'll have minutes, they'll also have examples. I know the couple of the people involved in this group already have copies of short-term rental guidelines, regulations, laws, whatever you wanna call it, that they're passing around.
And the good thing is that, like Airbnb is taking steps, like party houses. Apparently in Australia, they've rolled it out there, worked out real well. Like if somebody rents a whole house and they live within a mile, the computer picks that up and won't let the person rent it.
Yeah.
Cause it looks like it's being rented for a party sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, it's, the problems we're looking at, it's in the best interest of Airbnb and VRBO to also be just as concerned, so that it doesn't stifle it, but prevents the bad situations that have happened. Yeah. So that committee is official then?
I guess that we should probably do a resolution tonight to say that it's official with those 11 names. Just to make sure, because I think when we talked about this at the last meeting, somebody thought we had done a resolution before that had probably 2 less names on it. So, let me grab a copy of the one with 11 names, which is right on top of my desk. Just to make sure we do it right.
So I don't know if everybody got copies of the TI Council draft budget, because one of your questions was, are the people gonna get anything for it? So there's 60,000 in income and 60,000 in expense. It's predicated on if the county goes forward.
Right.
If the county doesn't go forward, that 60 income and 60 expense is not gonna be part of the budget.
So my question to you on that specifically, what advertising do they specifically do? I think I read they do like Facebook boost. There's a specific site I think they run down to like Pennsylvania.
Well, they used to do a lot of the radio, TV,
Yeah.
and all kinds of stuff like that they don't do very much of it anymore. Most of it's electronic. But they're promoting, fishing on Lake Ontario, fishing on the St. Lawrence River, camping, very broad. It's not just hotel and motel, it's very broad. Yeah.
So, my question on that was, is there a specific, it's not like a motel or hotel is gonna get this ad specifically for them blasted across marketing channels, and then the B&B people get nothing but the general kind of flooding of information.
Well, they've been kind of going along for the ride for free so far, because somebody sees an advertisement for the Thousand Islands, Jefferson County Thousand Islands, and they go, hey, let's go there. So then they go on Airbnb or VRBO, rent a place and come up.
Yep.
And the idea is to get the word out about this beautiful place that's up here, to get people to want to come here. But as far as the links and stuff, I believe, because the TI Council website, I believe will have a link there, because right now, if you buy in to their advertising, you can be featured in some of their online advertising, but the bulk of it is not. And so, what Corey's plan is to incorporate them into the website, county website, which they are not part of right now.
Okay. Yep.
So his concern right from day one was to make sure, he was basically looking at what would somebody possibly have a problem with. And it says, okay, what are we getting out of this now that we're collecting this?
Yep.
What are we getting? Same,
Yeah.
question you had.
Yeah, that's mine.
And he wanted to make sure he had an answer for that before it got asked.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with it then. I mean, wasn't coming from a rejection standpoint.
No,
From straight
but, no, yeah,
information.
it's an educational thing, 'cause,
Yeah.
cause it is a new sort of thing.
Mhm.
And in St. Lawrence County, I know with Airbnb, the property owner doesn't have to worry about it, it's all done electronically.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
it's, because when
It
they,
just gets added on to B&B and
exactly,
B&B, right? So-
and they actually remit to the county, not the individual property owners. Because when the bed tax was originally, enacted, they had a floor of something like 5 units or something like that were exempt, five and under, because of the burden on the paperwork and everything else. And they would fall under that, but apparently they've got a different way, cause it's being treated as a different sort of thing. But
Yeah.
that's been a concern all along, not burdening somebody with all this extra paperwork.
Yep.
So it's simple.
Okay.
So oh, go ahead, you got the committee there.
So back to the committee, I'm gonna read the names of, Greg Wills, Stacy Duran, Courtney Rutherford, Gerald McCreevy, Mary Ann McCreevy, Stacy Geneve, David Schaefer, Shelley Bruce, Sky Van Ingen, Ella Presti, and Russ Stroud.
So I just have one thing it got brought up to me from someone, so I wanted to address it. These committees, when they sit down, they discuss things, right? They wanna the purpose is for them to bring us multiple ideas, I'm assuming,
Yeah.
right? Because what the concern was is, as a committee, say they roll these guidelines out that let's take a vote on this specific thing. And you got husband and wife on there as 2 votes.
Yeah.
Which is a 6-5. Should be mentioned that if things roll up that way, that should not be the case. That's an automatic default, you're getting one viewpoint, if that is the case.
Mhm.
Someone called me about that, so
Yeah, no,
I
I
wanted to
think that's
address
the point,
that.
cause I asked that initially, I don't know,
And I think we said, well, we didn't, what I gave back for feedback is, well, we kinda looked at this as, we're gonna get 2 opinions on probably a variety of topics.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Is what the expectation.
I look at it, we're gonna pick and choose.
Yeah.
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 Because you could have a majority want one thing. In my mind, what they should have is kinda like you see in Supreme Court decisions where the majority has a statement and then the minority has a statement.
Yeah.
Because there's probably gonna be very few things that all 11 are gonna agree on completely. So there's gonna be, and so what we want is information that they've
on each.
taken the time to do and everything, and
Yeah.
have both sides of it to
Yeah.
us. Yeah. But that's a good point,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that is a good one. So I'll take a motion to accept these 11 names as our short-term rental committee and allow them to start the process of meeting.
Sure, I'll make that
Need a
motion.
motion by Sean, need a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Second by Mike, any further discussion?
Look, I had similar concerns as John. I mean, I hope it doesn't happen, but you almost,
It's really an acknowledgement by us, right? We're gonna hear 6 on one side
Yeah.
and 5 on the other, probably on most
Yeah.
topics, but it
And the
does.
final decision is ours, that's
right.
advisory.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But, right, they only recommend no matter how it goes.
yeah.
yep.
Yep. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Is there a discussion regarding county asking short-term rentals? For occupancy
So
tax?
what they're looking for,
Didn't we already have that?
well, we talked about it.
You guys
But what
did it
they're-
back in January, I thought.
Yeah, but they're looking for a letter now,
Oh.
Oh,
a letter of support. They want something on, physically.
and they want us to support,
Well, no, they just want, they're looking into, applying the 3% occupancy tax to short-term rentals. And they're asking for different towns whether they're for it or against it.
any number limit? Suppose you have 2 rentals.
Well, no, if Airbnb or VRBO, we're not actually dealing with the actual, property owners, to be honest with you. you're dealing with some huge corporations.
So the issue, like, one issue I see there is, I know an area, I know up in Blind Bay, they did this, and they had it hooked into Airbnb and VRBO, and there's 2 or 3 other rental agencies that it was not hooked into, cause there's other deals out there besides those 2. But we're obviously only dealing with those 2, and that's all that St. Lawrence County and the town of Hammond is doing.
Okay. I guess this is like, we're looking at the concept, and there was the concept, should short-term rentals be included in the 3% occupancy tax? And then I think it's up to the county to decide how far they reach with that. Because they're the ones that have to collect it and enforce it. So if they decide.
Most likely scenario is they're gonna decide on B&B and VRBO.
Yeah.
those are the
Because
easy
it's
ones.
all generated through the app, so the other people that do it independently aren't gonna.
What I'm
pay.
gonna assume is they're gonna find it way too difficult to regulate private,
Right.
cause there's a lot of private.
Sure.
It's kinda like when the online sales tax was it 2019, I think they said, all of a sudden, you know, you'd say, this is the way it is, they go, okay,
Yeah.
check another box in the computer program, all of a sudden it starts generating it.
Yeah,
No big
I was
deal.
gonna say, because I'm aware of more than one community that had rentals in it, and as the years have gone by, they've learned about the rental program, and they deal directly with their renters. They don't go through any agencies
Yeah,
anymore.
once they get enough repeat customers,
And that's what a lot of people are doing,
yeah.
is what it is, 'cause that's not our problem.
And see, that's where the original occupancy tax said 5 and under
Yeah,
was not, right now, I think it's either 6, under 6, or 5 and under, same thing, are not subject to it.
yeah,
And if you look at it, Airbnb and VRBO, even though they don't legally own all these places, it's like they're their places, and they're promoting them, and they're collecting all the money and everything from it. So when you talk to Airbnb or VRBO, you're talking about hundreds
yeah.
of, I don't know if you saw some of the reports there, they've got it broken out by the river area, Fort Drum area, you know,
Yeah, I saw
all the
that.
ones, they've got a lot of information.
So I have no idea if we even have any or how many, but you own a 5-unit hotel or motel, you
And
pay
that's
no occupancy tax.
Right.
Really?
Mhm.
Yep.
A lot of these little cottages that were up and down the river, that's why you'd see them 5 and under, cause then they didn't have to deal with bed tax.
Yeah. And it was like, the 3%'s not gonna kill anybody, but the idea was to just lessen the burden, not put another burden on. The big thing would be like one person. So you got one unit, and then they collected $65 worth of 3% bed tax over the course of the year, and they gotta file quarterly, all the
Yeah.
paperwork and everything. It was to eliminate that kind of thing.
I understand now.
Yeah.
5 and under also used to be the magic number where you didn't have to deal with New York State Health Department.
Yeah,
Now I think it's 4 and under.
Yeah.
400.
That's a real important number,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, and when you look at the industry as a whole, because it was 120,000, they're guessing, it's gonna generate something like that. 60,000 would go to the county, the other 60,000 gets split among the municipalities as it does now. So town of Alexandria, town of Clayton, town of Raleigh, I mention those because they're the waterfront communities that the average price per night is probably the highest. And so there's gonna be 60,000 generated to the local municipalities that hasn't before. But then that 1.2 million, you're looking at a little, just under, well, if you're at 3%, so it'd be 4 million in sales. So 4 million in sales, what you're looking at, it's gonna be the equivalent of somebody just built the Harbor Hotel, and all of a sudden, it's generating $4 million worth of sales. So, is it huge countywide? Not huge, but significant.
No question.
Yeah. And it's gonna be interesting, cause you're also going to see some municipalities getting money that don't have any hotels, motels in them, but they've got some beautiful lakes and stuff, and they're gonna start seeing some money. May not be
And
significant, but.
that was another one, I remember you know, this discussion down on sped taxes that, you know, it's countywide, and there's towns in this county that don't have hotels, like up here in Alexandria Bay has a greater percentage of rooms.
Well,
And,
as far as the dollar wise,
I
it
would-
used to be number one, they're number three
Right, and
now.
I would have to think that the Airbnbs would probably follow the same trend, there's probably more here than would say be in Adams.
Yeah. But what you're gonna see is you're
Where they're
gonna see
behind.
what's that?
Sorry, who are they behind? Clayton and,
No, we're ahead of Clayton. City of Watertown and Town of Watertown.
oh, okay.
Yeah, actually, it might be Luray, cause but when you had the Days Inn, Comfort Suites, the, Holiday Inn Express, Hilton Garden Inn, all those, there was a period there where the number of rooms shot up. And so, I believe we're still number one in the summertime,
Yeah.
but ours goes down to almost nothing in the wintertime, and they're still chugging along. Yeah.
So that money pulled together, county uses it for the entire county, pretty
The
much.
county, when they go to the county to get an increase, because what's happened is the amount collected, because of the rooms being built, climbed, and then they were allocating the same, so they ended up with close to $1 million in fund balance. And it was kind of flew under the radar, and that's not bringing more people here sitting in a checking account. So they did some special projects, like for the, Watertown Airport. One of the things they were trying to do, it didn't work, but you had flights were gonna be coming from Florida
Yeah.
and back and forth, and the thought was, well, you know, usually it's a one-way, the same people, kinda like with, I think it was Allegiant up in
Yeah,
Ogdensburg, was to get people to come up here. Well, like up with Allegiant, in the summertime, they stopped because people in Florida didn't wanna come up here, and people that are up here didn't wanna go to Florida. Because we thought we could draw people
Yeah.
from the other way, that didn't work. But, Jefferson County does not spend a nickel on promoting tourism.
Yeah.
It all comes from the occupancy tax,
Yeah.
which is a good thing for the property owners.
Yeah.
But when you go and say, look, we'd like a 10% increase, and here's the funding source, which is the occupancy tax, there's a hesitancy on the Board of Legislators to do that when they're giving all the other departments a 2% increase. But it's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
These are county property tax supported departments, and what we're saying is the advertising for the county should be predicated on our income source, which is the occupancy tax. It's not a burden. And the other, if you're saying 2% across the board, it's not really fair.
Right, yep.
You know?
Yep.
But anyway, what they're looking for is for us to pass a motion to create a letter of support for the county making short-term rentals subject to the Jefferson County occupancy tax. That's what they're looking for.
So is that your motion?
That would be a motion, yeah.
Any second on that motion? Second by Gene. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? F-250, 350. So what do we have for trucks? We have Mike's new truck, which is an F-350 that just came in, that he's driving. It's been outfitted for him with a plow and a gas tank and the other things that he uses. And then we have the truck that we gave the highway barn last year, which is the old ring truck, which is a 2016. It's got 126,000 miles on it that I drove today for 5 or 10 miles. And then we have the 2018, which would have been Jerry's first highway superintendent truck that has 86,000 miles on it, that I also drove today.
250?
The truck of Jerry's is a 350, the truck of the Rinks is a 250. So I drove both of those trucks today, and everybody has this piece of paper in front of them that has the budget notes for what we agreed to last year. Mike would like to change, as he said he's changed his mind, he'd like to change and have the, truck that he was driving, that he just gave up, stay with the highway barn, and have the older, the 2016 truck go to the rink, whereas you can see from what was here at the budget session, it was gonna be the other way around. And Mike has sent us all a letter about everything that he did to that truck. You all have a copy of that in front of you. I'd like to make one correction in his letter. Halfway down on page 2, 2 tires in the vehicle were to the point that they would not pass inspection had to be replaced. All these repairs were taken care of and paid for by the highway department. I asked Nicole a couple times, and Nicole says that's not the case. Those repairs and everything that was done to that truck came out of the DPW, and that is what Nicole has said. Anybody would like to hear her say that on the phone, we can call her, but I don't think that we need to do that.
No, I don't either. I'm just more concerned that we have a vehicle that could get into that kind of shape. You know, and what do we do to prevent it from happening again to another vehicle? Is it just?
Yeah.
There's a replacement plan on our vehicles, or no? Cause those trucks we get dirt cheap, right?
Yeah, they are.
I mean,
Yeah.
ridiculously cheap.
Yeah.
And
that's why
we get them at a cost that we could probably sell them after 2 or 3 years of use.
Yeah.
Right? And almost repay for the brand new truck on a state rate.
No,
So why we have a 2008 in a fleet or a 16, in my opinion, is a little crazy.
Yeah.
You're burning more money trying to fix them up than had we just sold it and got a brand new one.
Yeah.
Right? So it seemed to me that one of the conversations in the future need to be, how do we do that for the highway department and the rink?
You know, one of the things that skews our situation a little bit about doing that, and I agree with you, Sean, that, you know, the most common sense way to handle that is probably every 2-year program. And tie a little bit to miles. But when is it worth the most amount of money? But you're right, for what we pay for these things, we can drive them for 2 years and get our money out of them, most likely.
We used to, at school, we bought 2 buses one year, 1 bus the next. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, just like that, and it kept the fleet at about the same amount of miles, and.
See, our situation that makes it hard for us to do that, or hard in this case right here, is that we have a need for a truck someplace else also, so we're doing a hand-me-down program. And maybe if we went into this 2-1 rotation that you're talking about, that would take care of having a hand-me-down that's gonna go to the rink, or go to Mike Tibble's. It's a 2016 with 126,000 miles on it. That has to have certain repairs, you know.
No, you've got a unique situation with this state bid price.
Yeah, sure do.
And they can then go on the open market after a certain number of years, so it's.
Yeah.
Kind of, there's
I
no.
mean, we can sell those, right, on the open market
Yeah.
after.
So the only reason I have this in front of everybody today is to make the decision about which truck goes where.
Well, my question.
Or do you not even wanna go there?
Well, my question with that is, what does each truck do where it's going? Like, the one that goes to the rink, what does it do what's its duties at the rink?
Goes to the rink, plows the rink, does the errands for the rink, you know, might carry, blades in it, has to go pick up the blades, might, doesn't have a sander in the back of it, and it tows the dump trailer. It tows our dump trailer that gets full of weeds, or gets full of debris, or anything else that we fill it up.
Is that the same truck that pulls this trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah. That they do all the mowing in the
Yeah.
summertime, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, when I think rink, I thought you were talking, cause this talks about winter time. So is there like so there's a need during the winter different than the need during the summer?
For which truck? For the rink or for Mike?
I'm just reading what Mike was putting here, cause he talks about, I thought he was talking about, we had several major winter storms last winter. So it sounds like he's talking about winter time. I mean, just, if he needs, it seems like in the winter time, the rink truck is gonna stay around the rink.
Yeah,
And in the summertime, it's a different situation.
but it stays with the rink
Well, with the
employees.
yeah, I guess we should call it
They tow the mowers?
DPW truck.
It's a DPW truck,
Yeah,
that's what it is.
DPW truck.
So, that's how it is right now, right? Right, I mean, they got the 250 in DPW, and Mike's got the 350.
No, we're using this dump truck that's cumbersome. Our 1-ton dump with the dualies on the back. It's got the metal box that
Yeah,
bangs into everything you tow behind it.
so there's nothing at the rink,
No,
besides the 550, that's probably a 550.
350.
Dump?
350 dump.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I mean, you say there's nothing at the rink, Mike plans on, I think Mike called Jamie the other day and told him that rink truck, the 2016 was ready to pick up, so that truck would, now that Mike has his new truck, that's an extra truck to him that will come back to the town. And the question is, does that truck come back to the town, or does Mike's truck come back to the town? We had planned on Mike's truck coming back to the town, and I say town, I mean DPW, but he'd like to have it the other way around. And like I said, I drove them today, I can see the difference, there's a big difference. That truck that's got 86,000 miles on it, that's 2018, is tight. It's in excellent shape, and it's tight, and it's got power windows, and it's got a few accessories in it, and the other one doesn't have that. And it's got more miles on it, and it's rougher driving down the road.
And the other one's got 126,000,
126 and one's got 86.
so I think everybody's in agreement that truck ought to be going. Right?
I mean, they both ought
Doesn't
to,
make sense,
right?
Yeah. Yeah,
That's kind of one of the things that I was thinking as a possible solution here is get rid of that truck and replace it.
and one of the things we're talking about.
And give the new truck to the DPW and leave Mike's old truck at the barn to haul the chipper and do all that.
Exactly.
That makes the most sense to me.
That's what my thought are, is, when we put the new truck in DPW, we put it in the budget here the next month.
Some of the new truck that Mike has.
No.
Getting the DPW a new truck, taking the
Get them a new truck.
Get another bid, get another truck on state bid.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the existing stuff.
Get another truck on state bid and sell that truck with 126,000 miles on it.
Kind of what Ronnie and Sean are saying, that's what we should be
Doing on a regular
doing,
basis.
those programs.
That, we need to look into that a little further, but
Yeah.
for today,
They're probably 35 grand.
Yeah.
Be a drop in the bucket in our budget every year, or every 2 years.
yeah,
But historically, what we've done is just what Brent's saying, is we work them on the way
Done the
down, and then,
hand-me-down program.
when we're finally done with them, then they
junk.
go out the door.
yeah.
We should probably make a spreadsheet like you have for all of our payments and special dates
Yeah.
for maintenance on our DPW vehicles.
That would eliminate that problem.
Those problems.
But so the DPW gets a brand new truck, who's changing the oil in it, who's doing,
Well, that's the deal, that's the $200,000 question that we get with Jamie and Jay every year, because they want a building, so they can do this stuff, okay? We decided not to build them a building so they can do this stuff, just
where's the other trucks the same size getting their oil change?
The highway department, right?
the highway department takes care of all their own trucks.
Okay, why in the world, why are we gonna build a building to change the oil on one truck when we've got the exact same routine
Yep.
being done?
Yep. What have the highway department service are
Yes.
trucks that are non-highway trucks.
Yeah, we can give them credit for it on their
Yep.
budget.
Well, it sounds like you said, Nicole said we're doing that.
No, you're saying that the cost of the repairs.
They're just saying like the
Oh.
work that was done on that other truck.
Oh, okay.
By them.
Okay, yeah, same idea. Yeah.
Right, that's what you.
That's
you're-
it.
You said that.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, they did that work on that truck, not because that was a rink truck that needed the work. They did that truck because the
became
rink
theirs.
truck was handed over to them.
Right,
and given
but it sounds like.
So, this is a little bit different what we're asking, but we can definitely ask. And I don't think there should be any problem, or would be any problem, why the highway department wouldn't take care of our other two trucks that need to have mechanical service, that
Right.
they have all the equipment and materials to do.
Right, and the cost of that will come out of the DPW budget,
Yep,
right?
including the guy's labor that does the work on it,
Right,
right,
Yep.
right down to the whole thing.
Yep, I agree.
Everybody in favor of doing that?
yep,
Okay. So, we'll let the highway department keep Mike's truck that he just, replaced. And for right now, we'll move the 250 back to the rink and we'll order a new truck.
Yeah,
Those
for
come out.
DPW,
Yep,
out of the DPW budget, yep.
okay. Everybody's okay with that? Do I need to do a motion? Probably wouldn't hurt.
We're gonna order the truck next year.
That'll be next year's budget.
We'll put it this year.
Yeah, when we sit down with a budget, just kind of,
Yeah, we should probably order it this year.
but do a situation like you're talking about with the buses, kind of make a regular program out of it.
Yeah,
So we need a motion to have the highway department service all of the town trucks, which is including the rink trucks and the DPW trucks. We need a motion to have the highway department do that.
Sure, I'll make that motion.
Motion by Sean,
yeah.
second.
Okay.
Second by Mike.
Yep, then-
Any further discussion?
Just, I think going forward, we
It's
shouldn't
just to
call anything a
clarify.
rink truck. I
Yeah,
think we should call it DPW or highway,
yep,
one of
I
those
agree.
two terminology.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the highway department will be responsible for the maintenance on all of our trucks, including.
Well, that would prevent, it would seem to me, what happens to that truck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, none. And then the second part to that is, motion to order a new truck.
is that next year's budget?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we won't do that now, I don't
Yeah.
think, right? We'll just talk about it budget time and approve the budget.
Yeah.
I'd say we talk about it at budget time, and if need be, we're gonna wanna order that truck.
Right, cause we've done that before, because we don't take possession until after the first of the
Right.
year, so we can make the decision in 2022, but the payment would be in 2023.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Okay, I also sent you two emails today, trying to get verification on the financing for the Zamboni, which really is an Olympia, what I call the Zamboni. And the people from the state got back to the dank person who was working on this and said that the funds had been approved, but I thought I recognized that it might be the wrong SAM grant, and that was, he came back this afternoon and said it was, and he has sent an email waiting for an answer on the SAM grant for the Zamboni. And he doesn't have that, and he sent an email back that I passed on to everybody
Yeah,
now.
Sam Grant for Redwood Sewer came in.
Yes, the SAM, which we knew the SAM grant for Redwood Sewer had been approved for funding. So that's why we've started spending
I
that
was
money.
gonna say, we already spent that money.
Yes, well, the key is,
Have been.
you gotta spend it all,
And then it's
submit
reimbursed.
all your paid bills. and
We're
then
ready to
get-
do that with the Olympia.
And we haven't spent it all yet at the sewer plant.
Right,
Why not just order all the grinders?
They ordered all the grinders and all that, but there's some.
Oh, they did, okay.
Yes, but there's a bunch of work that Rob wants done that we haven't gotten.
Okay.
so the grinder part's been fully expended.
When you say fully, I'm not sure, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah,
So he's not, they haven't said whether the Olympia grant is real or not, so to speak?
not whether it was real, these things go to a certain point. Mike went through this thing.
This was going on for
Document
4 years.
submittals, the document submittal is just amazing. Every frickin'
Mind-blowing.
60 days, they come back, they want something else. And then, what they did to Mike is 6 months down, they said, we need a more up-to-date price on the Zamboni, because the
Yeah.
one he had was
Yeah,
6 months old.
it took so much time, they wanted, they needed an updated
Well,
price.
where are we
It
at?
took
So if you
so much.
saw my email today, he realized how important this is to us and said that he was gonna do everything he could do to get us an answer and find out where this is at with the Zamboni.
Okay,
So.
and then the other email that you forwarded was asking the guy, what's the delivery if we order by the 1st of September? Did
Right.
he get back to you?
No. And that was the second, I sent, all these emails I sent out last Thursday after our board meeting, asking for these things that we had talked about, the 6 things I had that were gonna be on this agenda.
Right.
And
Started at 1.
so, and that's where I'm at. So I don't have an answer, I don't have a problem if we adjourn this, next Monday for a real short meeting at the same time, if everybody wants to, or depending on what everybody wants to do.
Doesn't matter to me.
And in the meantime, I can monitor what answers I have to what things. Or, is there a way we can do this and not have to have a adjourned meeting?
Well, can we do it pending, just like we're waiting on the or the Association of Towns? In other words, we go ahead, saying pending approval from,
Association of Towns.
yeah, well, not
what-
Association of Towns, but
Yeah, we could get this thing, say we can order it September.
Okay.
And then we can get it next October.
Yeah, so the SAM grant reimbursement is, if it's reimbursable and we buy it now, we're gonna order it. What if it's not reimbursable? We talked about this the last meeting.
I know, but it's $100,000 out the door.
What's that?
It's $100,000 out the door.
Well,
I thought we just need one though.
We do,
that's the heck of this whole thing.
It's not a want,
Is we don't
right?
have an option really, but what the options we are facing is spend all our money or
Right.
spend a lot of money and getting money back.
But if we order it, okay,
I know.
and we forfeit the grant because we did it before final approval, and we don't get it till April, and we're not gonna use it until next
I know.
November. If we wait a couple months and don't take delivery until August or
Right.
September,
Yeah, yes.
No, I know.
there's no harm in waiting.
That's the no-brainer part of it. You're 100% right,
No.
because if they come back and they tell us that we're 10 or 12 months, then we don't need to order it till,
Well, best case scenario is like 6 months, I thought a little while ago.
yes, months.
So that's, I mean, most of the winter, we've gotta keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I just, anyway, I'm not comfortable losing that grant.
Yeah.
There's no question we need this thing, but,
So, we're gonna tie that to the answer to our question about, go ahead and make the motion the way you want.
well, just exactly the way Sean made it, pending approval from, what's the, is it Dank, or who's gonna tell you?
Dank's gonna
Dank.
go on it.
It's dank,
Pending approval from Dank.
yeah. Okay, so that's your motion, Sean, second,
Yeah.
second round?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Okay.
Can we have a brief review of that? That's,
go ahead, John, it's your motion.
I don't think, so, we're going to make a motion to purchase the Olympia based on or pending the SAM grant reimbursement approval from Dank.
But is it Dank or Department of State?
well, Dank
Department.
is getting it from the Department of State.
Right, but it's ultimately the Department of State is gonna write us a check.
Sure, Dank or Department of State.
Yeah,
Okay.
what is that actually, the dormitory authority, isn't it? That's what he wrote. in his
I
letter
don't
today.
know, but it's not, Dank doesn't write us a check.
No.
It comes from,
No, but they're just.
No, but Dank's
they're gonna tell
handling
us
it all
whether-
for us.
well, they're doing the
Dormitory
paperwork to get it set. They don't
Okay,
write us
we
a
got a
check.
motion and a second, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, none. Okay, don't have the delivery date, can't go any further with that, but that's tied to what we just did. Budget meeting, on the bottom of everybody's agenda, I picked out 1, 2, 3, 4. I picked out 4 days. We are flexible on all those except for the last one. The last one would be the 15th of September would be in the PM. The other ones, we are flexible on the 25th, the 31st, and the 8th, that's once a week, I believe. We're flexible for AM or PM, depending on what works for the board members. And those dates are Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday.
What if, those dates are fine, I'm out of town the 15th,
The which one, the 15th of,
the non-flexible date.
yeah, the one that's a
You gotta
PM.
call in or?
Well, there's no reason not to call in,
Right,
because, yeah,
yeah,
there's no decisions gonna be made at the actual, we're just,
yeah.
Yeah,
There's definitely no discussion, it's all discussion.
Okay.
Yep. So, tell me what everybody wants to do, that I can tell Nicole for AM or PM or times. In other words, 10 o'clock or 1 or 2 o'clock, or what works for everybody.
I'm gonna be a PM
Starting on the 25th?
later than 1 o'clock.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm gonna have to be later than 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Jean's probably got to be.
Me too. Well, later the better, but there again, I might
You
be
wanna
out
say
of town,
straight?
so I might be calling him.
yeah,
You wanna say 3 or you wanna say 4?
4 will
Four
probably
would
be
be
better for
best.
me.
So
Yeah.
4 on Thursday the 25th,
Okay.
4 on Wednesday the 31st, and 4 on Thursday the 8th. and 4 on Thursday the 15th,
Across the board, okay?
right?
Yep.
Okay,
So it's all 4, okay.
yeah, we'll
Okay,
make,
that makes it simple.
need a motion to, schedule the budget sessions for,
I'll make the motion to schedule the or the budget sessions, the 25th, the 31st, the 8th, and the 15th at 4 P.M.
okay? Any second for that?
Sure, second.
Second by Sean, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, none. Okay, the deputy clerk schedule, I went over that with you guys. I was kinda waiting, we didn't make the final decision, because we were kinda waiting for Stacy to come in and get together with Donna, so they decided on those hours, but the hours are what we talked about, and they're gonna start next week. And those hours are the Monday and Tuesday, we're gonna be open 8 to 12, and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're gonna be open 1 to 4. And I'm gonna advertise that on our website, and I'll advertise, I'm actually gonna add the TI on if that's okay with
And
everybody.
this is,
Absolutely, let
Yeah,
the people know.
Get the word out
A
as
number
much
of
as you
people
can.
that we've dealt with here
Yeah.
a lot.
and this is going forward
Definitely.
until it changes.
Yeah.
Until we get it figured out.
Yep.
The only thing I can see changing it, which I've talked to the ladies, and they're watching closely, is to when they're the busiest,
Right.
so. That's all I have, is there anything I'm forgetting here?
Nope.
Anybody have anything to add?
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you say something else? Oh, no, we talked about the occupancy, what else?
We did the 2 motions based on pending,
Yes,
so, because we talked about having another meeting next Monday, but we don't need to do that, right?
No.
Right.
yep. Yep.
I know somebody wants to come
Is there
here
an
and sit by
executive
themselves,
session?
they probably could.
Yeah. I'm
Make a
sorry,
motion to
Is there
adjourn?
an executive session?
I don't have one.
Okay, no, I remember seeing something.
Yeah, it's on the bottom.
Yeah, it's on the
Right,
bottom.
but if we're not, I'm okay with that.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, we're not, we still don't have an answer, and I'm, gotta bring back the situation with our assessor.
Right.
But that's nothing, we're gonna decide now, and
Right.
he, actually, his first day back from 9 days of COVID was today,
Okay.
so.
You talked to Lance Peterson at all? Well, we got a meeting tomorrow, we talk to him tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I make a motion to adjourn?
Okay, and then-
Motion by Ron, second by Mike, any discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, none.
All right.
Record beaters for tomorrow for them.
Yep,
We just take our paperwork with us, we're not
just take it with us, and we